Today we're going to be looking at how to use a SmartBoard in the classroom and the resources SmartBoard notebook software has made already available to use. This video is a screen recording on my desktop, but anything I'm doing and manipulating here can also be done on the actual SmartBoard screen. And as you can see across the toolbar, there are lots of tools that are available for the user, such as the pointer, which allows you to move and click on things, and shapes and text that can all be moved. I can change the color and the line of my text through this toolbar. I can edit the toolbar by clicking the settings gear in the right hand top corner of my screen. This will allow me to change what tools and icons I have on my toolbar. I can add as many as I need if I want to. Now here is the writing tools for this, where we can write with pens. Now students can write with the pen actually on the SmartBoard, or they can hold the pen and then use their finger. And then by clicking on the different options here, they can change what style of pen they're writing with. So there's a highlighter option, which is great to highlight different text and important text that you would use in the SmartBoard notebook, as well as fun creative pens that really makes writing on the SmartBoard interactive and fun for them. Now to erase what's on my page, I have a couple of different options. I can use the SmartBoard eraser. I can click the eraser icon and I can erase. I can also hit the clear ink, which is only going to erase what I've written in pen, or the clear the entire page, which would remove text, which would remove objects and ink and anything that's included on the page. Here's how I can quickly add text to my page. By clicking the text icon, then I can type, and then I can move this around by clicking back on the mouse option, and the text can be moved and located to a different place on the page. Then by clicking the clear page, you can see it erases everything on the page. To add more pages, I have a couple of options. I can click on the page thumbnail and then click on the arrow in the top right hand corner and click Insert Page. Then clicking on the arrows, I can go back and forth. I can also click the new page icon or delete page icon to change how many pages I have. Now let's take a look at the icons on the left side. If I click on this icon, that's our format icon. Any thing I've selected on the screen, I can edit. Then here I can add different links, whether it be to a document or to an internet source. I can link it through that icon with the paperclip. Here's where we're going to spend most of our time today. These are the tools and resources that the SmartBoard notebook has provided for you. I can search in the search engine here for something that I'm looking for specifically, if I know the name of the tool, or I can go through and I can search through each of their files. And you can see there's a lot of different options of activities, examples, things that they've already taken the time to build that you can edit and change to meet your objectives for your lesson. As you can see underneath where I'm scrolling, there's an option of pictures, interactive and multimedia, and then notebook files and pages. Clicking on those will bring up the specific examples. So if I click the vortex sort, which is a 2-category sort that we're going to look at, then I click on the interactive and multimedia, it shows all of the options that I can click and then import into the page. The vortex sort is one of my second graders' favorites. It's fun for them and it's interactive, and it's not overwhelming with their visuals. So we're going to do a nouns and verb sort. So when I click the edit option, I can type in the 2 categories that I want to use. Then I'm going to type in the answers or examples of each of these. Now that they're all typed in, we can hit OK, and then we can see the directions here for our students by clicking the question mark, and that shows both the user who's creating it and the students how to use it. And then we can see our words that we typed in there, and then the objective is to sort them. So put the verbs in the verb vortex and the nouns in the nouns vortex. And when they're correct, the words will disappear until all of the words have been used and are gone. Now if a student tries to place a word that's in the incorrect category, you'll see that the vortex spits that word back to the students to try it again. And then you can also hit reset to start it over. Now let's take a look at a SmartBoard file that's already been built and still gives the user the option of editing. Now we're going to take a look at another one of my favorites, which is the sentence arrange. And this could be used to meet objectives where students are supposed to sequence things or arrange sentences that are out of order. And as you can see, they've already given us the directions, which is to put the following morning routine items in order. And by clicking and dragging on the boxes, I can move and make this the correct sequence. If I click the check option, it shows the correct and incorrect answers, and I can easily just move these around to make sure that I do fix those mistakes. Then I can reset it. I can also click solve, which is another option of checking our work and having the students make sure they've done it correctly. Now SmartBoard has already built this one and as an example, but by clicking the edit option, I can still go in and change the text and the directions to make it match my objectives for my lesson specifically instead of keeping what they've already built. One of the great tools that SmartBoard has built in their files is the multiple choice option. Here is one that they have already built for you, and you can see I can click on the answers, both correct and incorrect. I can hit next to go to the next question, and then by editing, I can edit which questions I want to ask. I can also change how many questions I want to have in the review. Since I can only have 10 questions, I can add a second page with another multiple choice file and add more questions. The last file that we're going to take a close look at is the picture sort. This is one that I often use with my Latin classes. Here you can import pictures. You can click and drag, copy and paste them from either online or from the pictures that SmartBoard provides for you. And then you click and drag the words to the correct picture. You can reset, you can solve, you can check, just like we've seen in the other files. Even though SmartBoard provides many activities and resources and tools and games in their program already, you can build your own and save it for future lessons. So we're going to take a look at some things that might be helpful to know when building your own lesson. So here I have written a question that I want students to write the answer to on the SmartBoard in a complete sentence. So I'm going to have them write their answer on this line. One thing users have to keep in mind, and especially with younger students, is whatever is touching the SmartBoard screen, the SmartBoard is going to react to. So if there's the pen and the hand is leaning on the screen, it's going to try to write in both locations. So by locking our question and our line, the SmartBoard is going to recognize that those are not going to move. Instead, the pen can write over them instead of thinking that we want to move those to a different location. Now there are some different viewing options that SmartBoard provides. So you can see I have multiple pages here that we can use to view. And then if I click on the icon that looks like the full screen, it's going to take away the toolbar and the thumbnails, and then I'm just going to use the icons at the bottom to move from screen to screen. Clicking back on the full screen view is going to take me back to the regular view where I see the toolbar and all of the icons and thumbnails. Then there's a dual page view. This would be great when you are doing a review with a multiple choice option, to see the different questions and to go through multiple pages and viewing them at the same time. My school currently uses Saxton Math as their math curriculum. I found that my students were not participating and were not motivated during the calendar time that we used with posters and worksheets. So I decided to create a Saxton calendar on the SmartBoard. I made sure to include everything that was in the regular calendar, but just on a SmartBoard file. It became much more interactive for the students. They were more motivated and willing to participate throughout the entire calendar time. Instead of using worksheets and posters to do the calendar date, go through the months, the days of the week, the students are able to write and highlight on the SmartBoard. And then the great thing was that we could save what we did so that we can edit it for the next day, so they saw the changes that were occurring with the date and the days of the week, and it became much more fluent for them. The images that I pulled from the SmartBoard files allowed great visuals for the students without being overwhelming, which sometimes can happen with SmartBoard technology and other interactive whiteboards. To work on telling time, I imported a clock from the SmartBoard files into my page that focuses on time and money. The students are able to, with either the SmartBoard or the mouse on the computer, move the hands of the clock to answer different questions about time. Using the SmartBoard images and picture files, I was able to include pictures of the coins that we're focusing on in math. Then I clicked on each image of the coin and then clicked on the infinity cloner. This allows the picture to be copied and pasted very quickly and easily for the students by just clicking and dragging a new image onto it. This allows them to have a great visual of how to count money. The next slide was our pattern of the day and problem of the day, where I would write down different patterns and problems and have the students finish them. Then here you see what I'm using is the screen option, and this was really helpful and really a great visual for the students when we were doing our number patterns. I could use the whole screen covered, and then we would only display the number pattern that we were working on. And I could move it from both directions, from top to bottom, from left to right, and vice versa. Once the calendar portion of our lesson was finished, the next part was doing our fact practice, where the students were timed on a certain amount of number facts. And what we would pull up for this would be a timer for them to keep track of how fast they need to be moving. And then if I click on the arrows on the right, I could change the sound that occurred when the timer was up. So we would often do the cheers to celebrate that we were finished. So you can see I can add minutes or take away minutes and seconds by using the different arrows on the top and bottom. Clicking play allows me to count down, or I can click count up option on the mode at the top. SmartBoard should definitely be considered a cutting-edge technology. Using a SmartBoard in my classroom has increased the participation, motivation, and focus of my students, which has benefited their learning. Exploring the SmartBoard files will allow you to create lessons that meet your objectives and are interactive for your students.